I'm reminded of the tree that we have here today. What is it? The apple tree. Absolutely. When I was growing up, I would go to church camp, but I would also go to Boy Scout camp every summer. And at Boy Scout camp, we would sing a song as a prayer before our meals. Not every time, but occasionally. Maybe you know it. Oh, the Lord's been good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and the rain and the apple seed. The Lord's been good to me. Johnny Appleseed, amen. Amen, amen, amen. It keeps going. We're going to stop there. I don't sing as well as our kids, but thank you for some of you who knew it to participate in it with me. It mentions the apple seed. It mentions Johnny Appleseed. Now, Johnny was a real guy, Johnny Chapman. John Chapman was born in 1774 in Massachusetts and became an American folk hero, and for good reasons. One of the things that he did in his extraordinary life and generosity was to go around and give out apple seeds and plant apple trees and create orchards, and he helped to spread the apple tree from Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana. He didn't really get down to this here region, but the apple tree certainly has, and it grew and it helped to sustain people, especially during the dark and cold winters. It helped to give them not only food, but cider and other things that they were enjoying during the pioneering era. The apple tree. If you think scripturally, what do you hear about the apple tree? Yeah. Well, there's actually a wonderful word in the book of Solomon praising God and referencing the apple tree, but that's the only reference. The reference we understand, or that we've often seen, is in the book of Genesis, part of the creation story. We're told after the time in which the kids were speaking there, that after that, God said to Adam and Eve, I'm planting a tree of knowledge of good and evil, and you can eat everything you want, but not of the tree of the fruit of that tree. What's interesting is the name of that tree is not given to us, nor is the fruit given to us. It doesn't say apple tree, it just says the fruit of it, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But when the Bible was translated into the Latin, the Vulgate, the word in the Latin for evil and for apple are very similar. And so it's kind of like saying apple, apple, or evil, evil. And so the artists and the depictions in the Middle Ages and medieval era started drawing the apple as a depiction of the forbidden fruit, what you should not pluck and eat. I would recommend eating an apple a day, right? Keeps the... There you go. Well, and we love doctors, but nevertheless, let's keep our health and our well-being, which is a curious thing to think about. What is it that we need to do to maintain the reality of what God has told us in this narrative? That it is good, that we, in fact, are very good. God is looking at us and saying, look at you. This is beautiful. What I've created, I've done this out of relationship, out of love, out of affection, out of care, and I'm helping to sustain your life, to give you blessings. God creates. It's part of God's nature, and you and I are part of that, and God declares we are very good. But just like that first human being, the first family, Adam and Eve, whose names literally translate Adam mean human, Eve meaning life. They represent human life. They represent us. They took of that forbidden fruit and said, you know, God, I know better than you. I'm going to take in this evil, and I'll be able to handle it. And God said, if you do that, you will surely die, but they did it nonetheless. It's part of our story, not just the goodness of creation, but that God has given us the capacity to make choices, to choose the good or to choose the evil, and to go that way. Sometimes we don't have complete control over what we do or what our yearnings are, and yet God has said to us that if we stay connected to Him, God will make us new creation. He'll give us a new birth. Jesus said in John chapter 15, the passage that Bill read for us, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you stay connected to me, you will bear much fruit. And the question then becomes, what fruit are we bearing? In the book of Galatians, the Apostle Paul talks about that. He says, you can bear fruit of the flesh. You can bear slander and envy and jealousy and squandering and anger and all of these things. And those are what you can produce from this tree of your life. But that is not what I would have for you. The Spirit is different than that. God is different than that. And God would have you bear fruit of the Spirit. You know what that list is, right? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These are the things against which there is no law. They are part of the law of God, Paul says to us. And he invites us as followers of God to be part of God's good work, to ourselves create and produce, to give birth to good and godly things in this life. But we're given an opportunity. And it's not just based upon trying harder or not trying hard. We're told that if you want to be a new creation, all you have to do is open yourself to God in a new way. Say yes to the Lord to work through you, and that he will bring forth from your life the Spirit's fruit. That God will draw from you these things of peace, love, joy. You know, to go back to Johnny Appleseed for a second, he was a real person, like I said, born in 1774, but I learned a lot about him this week because I have to do my research for my sermons. And one of the things I learned about him is that he was a man of deep Christian faith. Did you know that he was a devout Christian? I didn't. I knew that he liked giving out apples or something, but that was pretty much the height of my knowledge. He was a member of the Church of New Jerusalem, which isn't around anymore, but they valued intellectual quandary and searching and understanding of God, having a deep theological base, and then living that out and how they interacted with others. And so he remained celibate his whole life. He saw himself as a missionary for God to this new world. And he was a vegetarian. He had great affection for the animals and wouldn't take their life. And when he saw an animal being abused, like horses, where there's many stories of this, he would buy the horse and then help to take care of it and rehabilitate it or give the animal away to somebody who is in need. If somebody couldn't afford the apple seeds or the apple trees, guess what he did? He gave them away. He offered them freely. He was a man who embodied peace and generosity and love and kindness. And for that, he's a hero. We are invited to bear fruit, to give witness to the glory of God, to be like Johnny Appleseed, to be like our choir this morning, to proclaim goodness and love and joy, and know that to sustain that, remain connected to God. Thanks be to the Lord. Amen.